Stop saying you understood wrong. Seriously, it can turn a small mix up into a real argument. Hey everyone, welcome to Speak Like a Native. I'm Maya.
And I'm Leo. Wait, I have definitely said you understood wrong more times than I can count.
You and about 90% of learners. That is exactly why today's episode is about handling a misunderstanding.
Let's get into it.
So here is what we are going to learn today. 3 phrases that native speakers reach for when someone gets the wrong idea. The first one is, I think there's been a miscommunication. The second is, what I meant was. And the third is, let me clarify.
Those all sound so calm. I usually just panic and start talking louder.
Right, you are not alone. The problem is, when you say things like, you understood wrong, or you are not understanding me, you are pointing at the other person. It feels like an attack, even if you do not mean it that way.
So the trick is to point at the situation, not the person?
Exactly. That is the core idea today. When a misunderstanding happens, treat it like a small cloud passing between you and the other person. You want to clear the cloud away together.
I like that. So how do we start?
Let's start with, I think there's been a miscommunication. Imagine you are at work, and your coworker thinks the deadline is Thursday. You were sure you said Friday. A natural response is, I think there's been a miscommunication. The deadline is Friday.
Oh, that is good. So you are not saying you got it wrong.
Right. I think softens it, and there's been a miscommunication makes it about the situation. It is almost passive, no one is blamed.
And I try it.
Of course. Your friend shows up at the wrong restaurant. You are at the Italian place, he is at the taco spot. What do you say?
You understood wrong. I said the Italian place.
See, that is the exact moment we are fixing. Try, hey, I think there's been a miscommunication. I'm at the Italian place.
Oh, okay. I think there's been a miscommunication. I'm at the Italian place. That sounds so much nicer.
And your friend will not feel defensive. That phrase works in almost any setting. Work, school, family, even with customer service.
What if the misunderstanding is because I explained something badly?
That is the perfect time for our second phrase, what I meant was. This one lets you take responsibility without saying I was wrong in a heavy way.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine you told your roommate, I don't want to cook tonight. They think you want to order pizza, but actually you want to skip dinner and just eat cereal. You can say, what I meant was, I'm too tired to cook a real meal, so cereal is fine.
Oh, I see. You are clarifying the meaning, not blaming them for misunderstanding.
Exactly. What I meant was tells the other person, the gap came from my words, not your ears.
That is a great way to remember it.
Now, here is the part that surprises most people. Learners often think what I meant was is only for serious apologies, but native speakers use it for tiny moments all day long.
Like when?
Like when your barista gives you regular milk, but you wanted oat milk. You could say, oh, what I meant was oat milk if that's possible. No drama, no you messed up.
That is really useful. I used to say, no, you don't understand me at coffee shops. I can hear how aggressive that sounds now.
Imagine a tired barista hearing you don't understand me. They are not thinking about milk. They are thinking about running away.
Okay, definitely not the goal. So the second phrase is my new coffee shop tool.
Yes. And now the third phrase, let me clarify. This one is a little more professional, but it is still warm and helpful.
When would I use that one?
Let's say you are in a meeting and someone says, so you think we should delay the project, but you actually want to speed it up. You can say, let me clarify, I think we should move faster, not slower.
Oh, that is clean. It sounds confident.
It does. Let me clarify signals that you are about to give a precise correction. It is especially common in emails and work conversations.
Could I use it with a friend?
You could, but it is slightly formal. With a close friend, you might say, what I meant was, or sorry, that came out wrong.
I like sorry that came out wrong. Is that another option?
Yes. That came out wrong is a great phrase when your words sounded harsher than you intended. Imagine you told your friend, you always forget. then you see their face fall, you can add, sorry that came out wrong. What I meant was, I felt ignored in that one moment.
So that came out wrong is like an undo button for a sentence.
I love that. An undo button for words.
There are so many good phrases today.
And in a few minutes, Leo is going to make the exact mistake most learners make during our practice round. Stay tuned for that,
Why do you always set me up like this?
as it helps people remember. But before we get there, let's talk about why these small word choices matter in American English specifically.
Is it really that different from other languages?
In many cultures, direct feedback is normal and even respectful. But in American English, especially in workplaces and service situations, there is a strong preference for protecting the relationship while fixing the problem.
Oh, so it is not just about grammar, it is about social harmony.
Exactly. If you say you understood wrong, the listener does not hear the information, they hear blame. In many American conversations, the goal is to solve the issue without making the other person lose face.
That explains why my American coworker always says I think there's been a miscommunication when I know it was totally his mistake.
That is a pro move. It keeps the team moving instead of stopping to argue about who is wrong.
But what if I really need to be direct? Sometimes I want to say no, you are wrong.
Good question. Directness has a place. If someone is being inappropriate, you do not need to soften everything. But for everyday mix-ups, softer phrasing gets better results.
So it is not about being weak, it is about being smart.
Right. Now let's talk about common mistakes I hear from different language backgrounds.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Spanish speakers often say, I have a confusion or you are wrong, because in Spanish the structures feel natural. The English fix is I'm confused or I think there's been a miscommunication.
I have a confusion. I have heard that a lot.
Chinese speakers sometimes say, you misunderstand me in a very direct way, or you cannot understand me. That last one can accidentally sound like you are insulting the person's intelligence.
Oh no, I have said you cannot understand me before.
I know. Instead, try, I don't think I explained that clearly, or let me clarify.
What about Arabic speakers?
Many Arabic speakers use you didn't understand me without meaning any harm. But in English, it can sound aggressive. Saying maybe I wasn't clear is a safer default.
So, the pattern is always the same. Remove you from the center and put the communication itself there.
That is the golden rule today. Remove you from the center.
Let's do a practice round. I want to see if I can catch myself now.
Okay. Scenario 1. Your boss sends you a message saying, great job taking notes today, but you did not take notes. You led the presentation. You want to correct the record.
I think there's been a miscommunication. I led the presentation, but Sarah took the notes.
Perfect. You use the first phrase naturally. Scenario 2. Your friend thinks you are angry at her because you sent a short text, but you were just busy. What do you say?
I could say, what I meant was, I am just busy, not upset.
Exactly. You could also say, sorry, that came out wrong. I was rushing.
Okay, now give me a hard one.
Scenario 3. You are on a video call and your teammate says, so you want to cancel the project, but you only wanted to pause it for a week. Use the third phrase.
Let me clarify. I think we should pause for a week, not cancel.
That was smooth. I would trust you in a meeting.
I finally sound like a professional.
You do. Now for the listener challenge. I want everyone listening to try this. Think of a recent time someone misunderstood you. Write down one sentence using I think there's been a miscommunication. What I meant was, or let me clarify.
And put it in the comments. I will read them and maybe practice more.
I will reply to a few and give feedback. This is also a great way to practice switching from the blame version to the native version.
So if I catch myself saying you don't understand me, I should pause and try. What I meant was.
Yes. And here's a little suspense. The next one phrase can save you from an awkward silence at a party. But first, let me ask, are you enjoying this episode?
I honestly am. I did not realize how much damage one little you could do.
If this episode helps you avoid even one awkward work conversation, then subscribe and hit the bell. We drop a new daily conversation every day.
Yes, and share it with a friend who is learning English. They will thank you.
Before we close, let's do a quick recap. Repeat after me in your head. I think there's been a miscommunication.
I think there's been a miscommunication.
What I meant was.
What I meant was.
Let me clarify.
Let me clarify.
Notice how all three sound calm and collaborative.
They do. I feel more in control already.
Today's rule is simple. Swap you understood wrong for I think there's been a miscommunication. You will sound more thoughtful immediately.
That is a good one to remember.
One more thing before we go. This is not about never being direct. It is about choosing words that get the result you want.
So when in doubt, make it about the communication, not the person.
Perfect. And for all our listeners, if you have ever been misunderstood at work, in a store, or with a friend, now you have 3 natural tools to fix it without making it worse.
And if you mess up, just say, sorry, that came out wrong. That one is my favorite.
It is a great undo button. Thank you for listening, everyone.
See you next time on Speak Like a Native.
Bye. Let us do one more real-life scene before the practice round. Imagine you are ordering at a taco truck. You said 2 tacos, no onions. The cook hears 2 tacos, more onions. When you get your tray, it is covered in onions. What are 3 possible responses?
I would probably say, you did it wrong. I said no onions.
And that is the mistake. Instead, you could say, oh, I think there's been a miscommunication. I asked for no onions.
Or what I meant was no onions at all.
Or, let me clarify. I wanted no onions, but I can pick them off if that's easier.
That last one is nice because you are still being polite to the cook.
Right, and in American service situations, the phrase no worries often goes before or after. You might say, no worries, but let me clarify. I asked for no onions.
No worries is another phrase I need to practice.
It is like a verbal cushion. It tells the other person, this is not a big deal.
So, no worries plus one of our 3 phrases is a perfect combo.
Exactly. Let's practice that combo. You are at a hotel, and the front desk gives you a room with 1 bed, but you booked 2. What do you say?
No worries, but I think there's been a miscommunication. I booked a room with 2 beds.
That is excellent. You sound patient and clear.
Hearing myself say it makes me realize how often I jump straight to frustration.
Frustration is normal, but the first sentence sets the tone for everything that follows.
So, if I start soft, the other person is more willing to help.
Exactly. Now let's talk about another common mistake I hear from learners around the world, saying you are not understanding my point during a debate.
Why is that bad?
Because you are not understanding can sound like you are not smart enough to understand. That is true even if your tone is friendly.
Oh no, I have said that in meetings. I thought I was being helpful.
Instead, say maybe I'm not making myself clear, or let me put it another way.
So you take the responsibility onto yourself.
Yes, maybe I'm not making myself clear is a magical phrase for difficult conversations.
Could I use it with my partner?
Definitely. Imagine you are arguing about weekend plans. You said you wanted to relax, and your partner thinks that means a big trip. You could say, maybe I'm not making myself clear. I want to stay home and do nothing.
That is much better than you are not listening to me.
Right, you are not listening is another blame phrase. It might be true, but it rarely helps.
So what do I say if someone really is not listening?
You could say, I feel like I'm not explaining this well, or can I try that again? That keeps the conversation open.
Interesting. It almost sounds like you are blaming yourself, but you are actually guiding the conversation.
That is the hidden superpower. You sound humble, but you are taking control. Now, I want to zoom out for a second and talk about why this matters beyond language.
I am all ears.
In American English, we often use indirect language to protect face, not just the other person's face, but our own. If you say you understood wrong and the other person pushes back, now you are in a conflict. If you say, I think there's been a miscommunication, the conversation can stay on the same team.
I remember learning about face in Chinese culture, but it is true here too.
Absolutely. Different cultures protect face in different ways. In American English, we do it with softening phrases, small apologies, and neutral language.
So I think is not just a filler, it is doing real polite work.
Yes. I think there's been a miscommunication makes it your perspective, not a courtroom judgment.
And there's been makes it feel like the misunderstanding just happened, like weather.
That is exactly the feeling. It is a shared event, not a crime.
I will never see these phrases the same way again.
Let's give listeners one more workplace example. Your manager thinks you missed a deadline because you were late, but actually the system was down. Instead of saying you are wrong, what could you say?
Let me clarify, the system was down for 2 hours, so I submitted it as soon as it came back.
That is beautiful. You corrected the record without attacking your manager.
Could I also say, I think there's been a miscommunication first?
Yes, I think there's been a miscommunication. The system was down, so I wasn't late. That frames it clearly.
I like that one.
Now, what about writing? These phrases are incredibly useful in emails and messages.
Oh, I need that. I always sound too harsh in emails.
A good email formula is, "Thanks for your message. I think there's been a miscommunication. What I meant was,"
That is so simple. 3 short sentences.
or, "Let me clarify my previous email. I meant the data from last quarter, not this quarter."
I am going to copy that formula.
Please do. And if you are worried you sounded rude, add, "I hope that clears things up."
I hope that clears things up. Another good phrase.
It ends the clarification on a warm note.
So today we have a full toolkit, neutral start, rephrasing, clarification, and a soft finish.
Exactly. And that is what native level communication is, a series of small choices that add up to a smooth interaction.